What's up, guys? I've got a very exciting video today. Here we have a video chronicling my run to legend, I guess, with really the first good team I ever made. This video is very important to me for a couple of different reasons. The first one being I haven't done a video on this team in about a year. I haven't really shown the difference between Deoxys Defense and Vigoroth as safe swaps yet, because the entire team plays differently, and I haven't really highlighted that yet. And the third one being that to show that Shadow, Victreebel, and Bastiodon work in REMIX Cup together. So once again, huge shout out to my Patreon supporters. Couldn't be doing this without you guys, and let's get right into this gameplay video. So this team, very classic team, Victreebel, Deoxys Defense, Bastiodon, has been working ever since Season 1. You guys are very comfortable with the Vigoroth version now. I think the last time I actually showed a video on Victreebel, Deoxys Defense, and Bastiodon, I don't think anybody really watched my videos at all. So I'll talk a little bit why this is important to get this team out here too. Is because right now everyone kind of assumes you have a Vigoroth when you swap in that Victreebel, so they're already assuming that they know your team of 3. That's a huge disadvantage for you. So if enough people start running the Deoxys Defense version, well, guess what? They can't just assume that anymore, and the games get much harder for them. So for example, if they have a fighter in the back, they might want to stay in with their lead, but unbeknownst to them, we would have Shadow Victreebel, or sorry, Deoxys Defense come in and clean up that fighter afterwards. So it plays more like a balanced team than it does an ABB team. Definitely catches a lot of people expecting the Vigoroth off guard. But yeah, let's get into some videos. Here we are expecting the Vigoroth up in the lead. And you'll notice I tend to stay in almost every lead matchup that is remotely winnable in the 2 shields. Even if it's not a good matchup, and you have to spend 2 shields, they have to spend 0, I'm staying in the lead because switch advantage is this important to this team. And a lot of the times they're going to be trapped with a fighter in the back. So in this case, we're going to have to spend 2 shields to their 1. That's fine. And in comes Granbull, so this is pretty good. I don't mind staying in the whole way here. Right, Victreebel does quite well versus Granbull, and then we just have to bring in a Pokemon to take down Granbull. I would come in with Deoxys Defense just because, well, you can burn the Psycho Boost and then switch, and the other reason being that you don't want to get close combat on Bastiodon. So I wonder if they were staying in there expecting the Vigoroth, and maybe they had a fighter in the back that they didn't want to reveal. So Shadow Beedrill, one of those Pokemon you cannot beat with Shadow Victreebel. Doesn't matter the shield scenario. So we're switching out to Deoxys, and this isn't a good switch either, so we're kind of just hoping that they do switch out at this point. They switch into Whiscash. Deoxys is very low, 1 Mud Bomb away from going down, so we're just going to try and get rid of this Psycho Boost energy ASAP. Victreebel can handle Whiscash, no problem. So in this case, it is kind of working out like an AABB. Vigoroth is a much better job at baiting out the fighters, whereas Deoxys Defense has a much better job baiting out the Mud Boys that Bastiodon doesn't like to see. So it really is a little bit of a trade-off. But yeah, you can take a Mud Bomb and yeah, you 4-shot or 5-shot that Whiscash, and we'll see what they come in with. If it's going to be double hard counters in the back, and it is. So Vigoroth in the back. So this is unfortunate. This was just a triple hard counter team. This is what happens when you play balanced teams sometimes, though, right? You just lose. You just lose because of team comp. But I will say that it does speed up your games a little bit. So Cress lead. So this might be something I might switch out into Vigoroth once I get the Crest low enough with the Vigoroth team, because you do eventually want this on your Bastiodon. But in this case, this is not what we are doing. We are going to stay in, we are going to pressure this Cresselia, and we're going to win the 2 shield. So this Cresselia doesn't run Confusion, so we're able to do this. If it was running Confusion, we would have to switch into Deoxys, and Deoxys is a really good matchup versus Confusion Crest, so it's fine. So yeah, we go down 2 shields to 1, but we have a Leaf Blade loaded. Drifloon comes in. Once again, we're not switching, right? This is a much better matchup for Bastiodon than it is for Deoxys Defense. And these Leaf Blades chunk. So if this Drifloon is going to try and farm all the way out, look how much damage Shadow Victreebel does to Drifloon. And in comes Obstagoon. So they're trying to play around there a little bit. Vigoroth might have been a little bit better here. Well, if they have Cross Chop and they have an energy lead, you still lose the 0 shield. So actually, I think Deoxys might be better than the Vigoroth in this situation. I'm not going to need to throw a charge move to take down this Obstagoon, and I should have a couple of charge moves ready for this Drifloon, but the writing's on the wall. They know they can't beat the Bastiodon alone, much less a couple Psycho Boosts from the Deoxys. Yep, this next matchup here, we've got a Deoxys lead. This lead has gone much worse for Shadow Victreebel. So they're going to Psycho Boost and get out, which is fine. But if you'll notice the health, they're not even 1/3 of the way done at the first Psycho Boost. And they're going to switch into Mew. So double Psychic already. Very interesting team. But Shadow Victreebel also has the best matchup versus Mew here. So in this case, I'm going to shield up the first move. Probably not going to be able to shield up the second one because we don't have shield anymore. But that's okay. Because Victreebel is a beast and survives that anyways. So we're still going to get switch, which is really important. Just because lining up Deoxys versus Deoxys is so important. And they're playing this like I have a Vigoroth in the back, right? They switch in the Mew, thinking that I need that Victreebel for Deoxys. But I have my own Deoxys to handle Deoxys. So another game, I think, won by the fact that they're expecting a different Pokemon. So let's subvert, yeah, so I hate saying subverting expectations. I've said it so many times, but it really is something that is going to become increasingly more important in Pokemon Go, especially in GBL, but honestly, in my opinion, in 6-pick-3 as well. Yeah, so we're just going to hard counter them all the way down. They're going to stay in, throw some Weather Balls, take up a little bit of time. Yeah, this is one of those games where if I had a Vigoroth, maybe I don't win this one because they were playing it around, or with the knowledge, or I guess the knowledge that I had that Vigoroth, which I guess obviously is not the case. And in Remix here, it is a little bit more important to run Deoxys. It has a more consistent matchup versus Registeel, which you see a lot more often than in Open. Right, because if you're running Vigoroth, you get Focus Blasted. Very scary. For Serperior lead, I actually switched to try and catch the Aerial Ace, but unfortunately I did not think that perhaps they would be enlightened running the Enlightened Leaf Tornado build. So unfortunately I'm going to get debuffed there. So let's count that. That's 50-50, right? So 50% chance that happens so far. Whatever, we're still in this game. It's a really rough game versus Mew because they can farm all the way down pretty much. They have revealed Surf, so Bastiodon is not safe to come in. This has to be a Victreebel play. So I have to come in with Victreebel here, and I have to really think hard about if I want to shield or not. Victreebel can survive a Wild Charge, but not a Flame Charge. So it really depends on what they have, and they go for the bait. And I call it because I just hope that it's a Wild Charge, and they go for another bait, and I shield that one. So unfortunate for me, but they're going to bring in the Serperior, I believe. I'm going to no shield, and it's a Leaf Tornado, just like I thought. And there we go. That's another 50-50 shot right there. We just lost, so 25% chance to get 2 Leaf Tornado debuffs in a row. Let's take a look at 3. What is that? 12.5%. I think there's a good enough, that's a good enough percentage there to just top left out of there. And Registeel in the back with the Core Breaker. They were saving it. That's what doesn't really matter versus the Deoxys Defense version. If I didn't switch out, I actually had a decent chance, depending on debuffs. But switching out, expecting the Aerial Ace was a Vigoroth play. I should have been making that play if I had a Vigoroth. But I have a Deoxys. I should have been staying in. So the Wigglytuff matchup, exact same as before. You just tap, tap, tap. Make sure to take that Wigglytuff down. If you throw a move, they might get to a move. So never throw a move. And they bring in Medicham. So at this point, I'm surprised they didn't shield. I thought they might be expecting a Vigoroth. In this case, we still have a Whiscash, which is a very tough matchup here. So this will be tough to play out, and then Whiscash is kind of what you want that Shadow Victreebel for, obviously, and they're smart enough to shield the first Psycho Boost, but we're gonna throw 2 Psycho Boosts in a row and just dip to Bastiodon to clear these debuffs, because Deoxys always looks like a noodle, but it's only now starting to hit like a wet noodle, and yeah, we got to get out of there. Unfortunately, this is going to create an opportunity for this Whiscash or Medicham to get quite a bit of energy, but luckily they actually do switch again. And I'm going to no shields and just try and farm down this Medicham. Yeah, we're going to we're going to have Diamond Hands here, right? Nothing from this Medicham is going to deal more damage than these Mud Bombs, and this Whiscash is going to have a really tough time farming all the way down with Mud Shots. So the safe play is to no shield there, and it ended up being a Power-Up Punch, which is honestly game-saving. But yeah, you have to really, really think about these endgame scenarios, and that's what sets apart the really, really good players from the players who are doing it almost all right, is just these endgame scenarios and trying to plan your win in your head once you've seen all their Pokemon. And that's extremely important, and that's what I had to do here to try and win this game. And same with my opponent. Perhaps if they Power-Up Punch first, I would have been much more scared of that second Ice Punch. So Shadow Gardevoir, this is a fantastic lead for Shadow Victreebel. Not only is it a Charmer, but it's also really squishy, so you end up with a decent amount of health remaining. But unfortunately, we come in with Typhlosion. It's a Pokemon that is pretty good against Shadow Victreebel. We get the shield back, so we have shield advantage versus this Typhlosion. And Bastiodon can tank a Blast Burn pretty comfortably. It's just the second Blast Burn and a couple Incinerates that we'd really have to worry about. And in comes Rainy Cast Form, so this is a pretty good rock, paper, scissors win here. We were just win all three. Their team has no play against a grass lead. Sorry, against a grass poison lead, which is, I guess, just Shadow Victreebel because Venusaur is banned. So they didn't have a play. They can't switch out because otherwise then they lose their only counter, and then Shadow Victreebel will sweep the rest of the team. So I stop attacking here. This is really important. The reason being, I don't want to get farmed down by this Typhlosion, so I wait till my switch timer is just a little bit up, just a little bit from coming up. We'll throw a Psycho Boost, so I stall it enough to switch out, and then I can get my Bastiodon in there without Typhlosion getting any extra energy. I only have 2 shields remaining. I probably wouldn't need them, but you know, it is nice to keep practicing good play, even if you've already won. Why not try and make them the most optimal plays? It's just it's a good habit to have. Deoxys lead. Here we go again. So they throw at 7. This is actually pretty smart of them. They're trying to make me think it's a Rock Slide, but it's a Psycho Boost. And in comes Lickitung. So I stay in for a little bit. I probably should have thrown one more Razor Leaf. I know the matchup for this. If you catch the Body Slam, it's much easier. I had some great games. Unfortunately, they just weren't a part of this 4 set versus Lickitung switch-ins, including one versus CCO himself. That I feel like I played really well. I didn't play this one as well, but we're going to see how it goes. I'm going to throw Stone Edge here and undercharge it. I'm only going to go for the nice. I think maybe a little bit more might have been a little bit better too. Because, oh no, they only get to the Body Slam this one. So yeah, that was perfect. And then they're going to hard switch into the Deoxys, which is great for me. I can stall again by throwing this Stone Edge, and I can come with my own Deoxys. You know what? Because their goal is to try and get an energy lead by switching into Deoxys so they can throw 2 Psycho Boosts before I can farm them down on Victreebel. But if I come in with my own Deoxys, this energy lead means nothing, right? Deoxys is just a big sponge. I'm going to sponge up all this other Deoxys energy, and I'm going to be able to farm it down and even have a little bit of an energy lead over whatever decides to come in afterwards. So it's a Ninetales. And Lickitung comes in to try and catch a move. But those Diamond Hands, they pay off. We're going to grab a Psycho Boost onto this guy and another one. Doesn't really matter though, because we've got... Actually, it does. This Bastiodon is kind of low. So we have to come in with Victreebel here. I'm going to throw Acid Spray to be on the safe side. And they know shield. They're trying to lose at this point. They know the game is over. But, yeah. So, I did use Acid Spray once here, but I don't know if I really needed to. So we're going to take a look at another 4 wins. Take me up to 29-56 here. His next game versus Quiggles. Congrats on Legend Quiggles. I just saw, I think, on Twitter that you hit it. That's awesome. And we have the Politoed lead, which is awesome, and into Bastiodon. This is also awesome. You know, this is the type of game you love to see, where they switch in something that Deoxys counters so hard, because you're keeping your core of Shadow Victreebel and Bastiodon alive. If you can ever switch in your Deoxys to just guarantee that matchup win and leave your Bastiodon alive, it's honestly a pretty good idea. And you just throw the Thunderbolt once in the Bastiodon matchup, unless it's Super XL, then you have no problems farming it down before it gets to the second Stone Edge. And they come with Politoed. It's very nice that I'll be able to get some Thunderbolts off on this thing. And obviously he's not going to shield it. Right? He's not going to shield it because he knows that it doesn't have a good matchup versus Victreebel. So he's just going to let it go down and sponge up some of that damage, and we can come back in with Victreebel here and deal with this Mew and the 2 shields. Yeah, this is a pretty easy matchup now. They can throw Surfs all they want. It doesn't matter. Not even a single Surf will touch Victreebel if they go straight Surf. So yeah, unfortunate for Quiggles. Very rock, paper, scissors win right there. Now we're starting to play some Legends. Descent of Man with the Deoxys Defense lead. Let's see how this goes. Every Deoxys Defense lead player is a little bit different. So we're going to throw a Leaf Blade. If you get the shield off of Deoxys, it's great. If they don't shield this, they don't get to the 3rd boost, which is all important. So like I said, I would normally make a play to catch that 2nd boost. If I was on Vigoroth, I would switch to Vigoroth to catch it. But instead on Victreebel, I'm staying in. And they're going to switch out of their Deoxys into Mandibuzz. Very clear answer here. Mandibuzz is actually a really tough Pokemon for this team, generally, because the Deoxys Defense version, you can't switch into Mandibuzz, and Victreebel can't beat Mandibuzz either. So it's kind of a nowhere to go scenario where you kind of have to just pray. But if they switch the Mandibuzz in, completely different story. Undercharge the Stone Edge a little bit, but they shield anyways. I mean, I was very surprised about that. So they really want to win switch here, I guess. Oh no, they're trying to stall the clock, which is fine too. And same play as my other opponent, right? They're trying to get energy on their Deoxys, an energy lead, so that they can Psycho Boost my Victreebel with shields down. But I have a Deoxys myself. I don't have a Vigoroth. I can tank however much energy this Deoxys wants. And we're going to be able to farm it all the way down. Yeah, throwing the Psycho Boost against me there was a big mistake, because now I'm not pressured to throw a move. And now I have a loaded Deoxys against whatever they have in the back. There's not too much that honestly likes this. And here's Clefable. So Bastiodon can deal with Clefable. Victreebel can deal with Clefable. Deoxys can deal with Clefable. Like, look at this. We're going to be able to take down this Clefable, no problem. Just with the energy that Deoxys gained for farming down that other Deoxys. And now Mandibuzz comes back in. So this game is not over yet, though. They play this very well in terms of just soaking up energy. And now I am in a bit of a pickle. Victreebel has to be able to take down Mandibuzz. Yeah, and it outpaces it just a little bit from there. Just because of the 4 Leaf Blade extra that I had of energy. So we'll be able to win this one too. I did have to remove 1 game from here just because my opponent never really loaded in, and that was just, it would be a waste of everyone else's time. Here we have a Shadow Fortress. This is really, really tough. This Pokemon beats all 3 Pokemon on this team. So I'm not really sure what to do here. It's a Mirror Shot clearly, so we don't shield the first one. If they charge up to Earthquake, then maybe you respect it. But not Mirror Shot. You need your shields for Shadow Victreebel. And luckily, they let that through. And switch into Mandibuzz. So that's 2 threats already to Shadow Victreebel. I'm really hoping that whatever they have in the back is weak to Shadow Victreebel. And I'm kind of not even just hoping, I'm like praying, because that's the only win condition here. So they go with the Aerial Ace Flex on my Deoxys. Highly doubt they're running Aerial Ace Shadow Ball or something like that. Yeah, there's the foul play. And I'm going to try and take out this Mandibuzz as soon as possible. And unfortunately, I clicked the Flamethrower here. So a bit of a disaster. Lickitung is not a good matchup. They shield anyway, so that's great. But Lickitung is not a good matchup versus Bastiodon. My opponent is just making a very smart play because they know that Shadow Fortress has the better matchup versus Victreebel. And at the HP that my Bastiodon is currently at, it's probably not going to be able to take down or get to that Earthquake. So I'm going to switch and catch a body, or hopefully a Power Whip on this Lickitung, and I do. So this might be a game-winning play. I'm probably not going to shield my Victreebel here, and I still am going to be able to take down that Fortress. I stopped attacking for a second because I wanted to get farmed for less, but unfortunately I would have actually made it to that Leaf Blade. So I probably shouldn't have stopped attacking. A bit of a mistake on my part, but it is what it is. And Lickitung versus Bastiodon. Like I said, not a great matchup for Lickitung. We're going to shield up the Power Whip and farm down. Able to pull off this. So, like, imagine you run into a lead and the lead beats all 3 of your Pokemon. Do you give up? No, you don't give up because you can still play around all this stuff. Next game against Red. Yeah, so Roserade lead, awful. Drifblim switch, awful. Yeah, not too much I could really do in this game without making some very big plays, which I'm going to attempt to make. Yeah, so Drifblim takes that Thunderbolts. We're going to come with Bastiodon. Probably should have waited the switch timer a little bit more, because Red can come right in, but and he does with the Roserade. And if he's coming in with Roserade, that means he's got something way better for my Victreebel in the back. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to catch a Leaf Storm. And catching a Leaf Storm would debuff him and allow me to actually win this matchup with Shadow Victreebel. But he's not even running Leaf Storm. Red, what are you doing? Leaf Storm is out. You don't run Grass Knot. Grass Knot is the inferior move on Roserade now. Why are you running Grass Storm instead of, or sorry, Grass Knot instead of Leaf Storm? Oh, very sad loss here. Red obviously makes a good play here, charging up to 2 Blast Burns and just firing them off so that it takes my second shield. And since I know there's no Leaf Storm, I don't mind spending a shield there already. But this game is going to come right down to the wire. Yeah. And this Grass Knot is going to hurt. But if it was a Leaf Storm, it would have KO'd. Yeah, he was at 100 energy, so it is what it is. We're going to lose this one. Very spicy team from Red. Yeah. So I would need one more win in this set to hit Legend. So we'll see how it goes. Bastiodon versus Victreebel. This is versus Mimikina Floa. Good player, but was in a dodging scandal in the past. They shield up Leaf Blade, and that's my cue to get out. If they don't shield Leaf Blade, I stay in. And in comes Haunter, so throw the Psycho Boost. And then we'll get to this next Psycho Boost. I'm going to shield, because I was of the opinion that this would KO this Psycho Boost, but it doesn't actually KO. This is very surprising to me. But I've decided that I really want Switch here. I thought it was my team, right? With the Jellicent in the back. Or maybe with the Sableye in the back. Either way, some sort of Ghost type in the back. So I'm in a pretty rough situation that they can farm down. But at the same time, I still have a chance, because Victreebel can deal a ton of damage, and I can get to a Leaf Blade potentially versus this Gengar. Unless this happens. So imagine you're one game from Legend. You've had a pretty rough day, pretty rough week, just in general. And all of a sudden, you switch in your Victreebel, and it just gets farmed all the way down, and you don't even get to see it. You don't even get to see the Victreebel at all. And this Gengar, so there's the proof there that it was farmed all the way down. 2 Shadow Balls. And the Flex with the stored move. I mean, none of this is necessary at this point. But, yeah, that's hashtag fix your game. And we're only going to win 3 this set because of that last game. Very unfortunate. Luckily, I did bank a set from the other day, so this was my my shot at redemption, last set of the day. I really wanted to hit it on stream for very sentimental reasons. So we have another Bastiodon lead. Let's hopefully get some revenge here. Need a 4-1 to get to Legend. Yeah, and the Bastiodon shields, so that's my cue to get out. The day before, Bastiodons were in a shielding lead, and I was staying in. If I can stay in, my backline should be able to deal pretty well. Now with the Deoxys, if I win Switch, I should be able to deal well versus Fighter Grass or Double Fighter. Or it's not too bad. In this case, we have the Meganium counter switch, which isn't really winnable, especially with the extra chip damage. Yeah. And Victreebel has to come back in. I'm able to spend a shield and farm down. Not sure why there was the bait there, right? Because they're only going to get to 1 move anyways. Bastiodon comes back in. We'll throw the Leaf Blade. And we'll dip. Get that last shield. And hope whatever's in the back is weak to Bastiodon. It's not. It's Medicham. So, yeah. This is a rough game. But, yeah. This will happen. This is hard. Or this is counter. I'm not just talking about this Medicham punching down this wall. I'm just talking about 3 hard counters for this team. That's the risk you run of a balanced team. So I need to clean this set out 4-0. We're going to have another Shadow Victreebel user. You love to see it. And the thing about running Deoxys Defense is that if you win switch, you can beat the Vigoroth versions of this team, no problem. If they win switch, it's a little bit tougher. But we're both fast move denying to try and tie this lead matchup. Actually, they let their Victreebel go down. So I don't think they understood how important switch is to me. I am going to let my Victreebel go down after getting to this Leaf Blade. But remember, so Deoxys is the better matchup versus Bastiodon. But I'm not going to bring Deoxys into this. I want to save my Deoxys for their Vigoroth. So we're going to make this play. Because the only way they can win is if they line up their Vigoroth versus my Bastiodon. And then their Bastiodon versus my Deoxys. Because Vigoroth is better versus Bastiodon than Deoxys is. But Deoxys stomps Vigoroth straight up. So even though it is very counterintuitive, in the mirror, you need to bring your Bastiodon into their Bastiodon. You need to slow the game down. Because otherwise you're just going to lose. And they switch right away. Simultaneous switch. I was actually planning on switching and farming down the rest of that Bastiodon too. Because at that point, it's just going to give me an energy advantage. So their switch was actually a very good reactionary switch there. But unfortunately for them, they are running the Vigoroth, right? And I'm just going to go for the Psycho Boost here. Yeah, just need to take out this Vigoroth, and then my Bastiodon is healthy enough that it should be able to take down their Bastiodon. I'm really hoping I got the CMP tie there, because otherwise they can dirty swap out. So I'm not tapping on that Psycho Boost button, I'm just letting the game do the work, because that's the only way I can lose this game at this point. And then we're going to switch at the same time again, very coordinated switches between my opponent and I guess that's that means they're learning the Victreebel. We're playing the Victreebel Bastiodon line very well. If we're thinking about the same things at the same time, that just shows, I guess, like peak gameplay with the line, which is awesome to see. So Obstagoon lead. This is a tough one, but because we're generally letting Vic go down, it's important to know what your Vic can take with the Deoxys Defense version. So they actually get the boost and switch out, which is huge for me. And I'm going to get the Leaf Blade off versus this Deoxys. And now I have to choose which Pokemon to bring in. I'm going to bring in my Deoxys versus theirs. To soak up a little bit of this energy. They're just running Rock Slide. I probably would have been better off putting my Bastiodon in there at this point. But yeah, and they show the Psycho Boost now too. But you can never know what moveset a Deoxys has. And they're going to come with Toxicroak. So this is a pretty big deal. I need to be able to take down this Toxicroak. But I'm going to stay in. Because we have to get the Psycho Boost off. I need to get all these Psycho Boosts off. So even though I'm debuffed, I'm really worried that this Obstagoon is going to switch in. So I'm going to wait to see the counter animation. Yep, and they switch their Obstagoon in, and I have to switch in my Bastiodon now. So my Bastiodon absolutely has to take out this Obstagoon. But at the same time, okay, so they stop attacking here, and I take them down in an effort to save enough energy for a Flamethrower. But this was a bad play. I shouldn't have taken them down. I was panicking because this Flamethrower isn't going to deal enough damage to take out the Toxicroak, and this Toxicroak is going to get 5 counters. So if it was able to get 1 more counter worth of energy, I would have lost this game, because Deoxys loses CMP. So my goal there should have been to stop attacking as soon as that Obstagoon did as well, until at least the switch timer came up. Really well played by Eugene Blue Gene there with the stop attacking strategy. I rarely see players use it against me, but it was very good there, and I didn't realize why he was doing it fast enough. So Registeel switch in. This is actually the first Registeel we've seen this this set of videos. It's a bit weird because I was seeing it quite a bit. Matchup versus Deoxys Defense is the same as before. Counter didn't get nerfed, Razor Leaf did. So you just throw the one Thunderbolt, shield once, and farm all the way down. Sure, you're at a shield disadvantage, but you've taken out the biggest threat to your team, to your core, and you have a huge energy lead over whatever wants to come in. In this case, it's a Deoxys. As we talked about earlier, this is not as important, but when your win condition is fast moving down a Deoxys, So with Victreebel, then dealing as much damage as possible is great. And they actually do need to throw some energy, which is nice. The thing is, Bastiodon can also take down Deoxys from this HP, and they've shown Rock Slide already. So that means they probably don't have Thunderbolt. But luckily, I do choose to go back in with Victreebel. And they're just going to GG out. I'm surprised that they just left there, though, because Mandibuzz versus Bastiodon, the matchup isn't that bad. They might have been able to win it with the shield advantage. Deoxys Defense lead again. This is probably the most common lead today, it seems like. Where'd all the Sableye leads go? So they're at 9. I know they're not back-to-back. So I can throw my Leaf Blade now and CMP tie them on the second one. I got my first Razor Leaf through. So I might be able to take them down before they get to a third. But maybe not as well. The Razor Leaf nerf really hurts. And they're going to switch out right away to Lickitung. So yeah. You'll notice when I'm close to a milestone, I panic a lot. And I play a little bit poorly. Once again, I only throw 4 Razor Leafs instead of 5. You want to throw 5 Razor Leafs before switching against Lickitung because it gets to, I think, Body Slam at about 5.5 Razor Leafs. So in this case, because I didn't catch the Body Slam, I'm not going to have as much health coming out of this and not be able to get to quite as much. I'm going to just go to the Nice. And this time I think they're actually going to make it to the Power Whip. Those IVs matter just a little bit. It looks like a pretty strong Lickitung. And out comes the Deoxys. That was a really weird animation. It kind of threw me off quite a bit. And we're going to take it down. So here we have Charm, Ninetales. Shadow Victreebel's not healthy enough to deal with this. But we do have to go there first for the Leaf Blade because we don't have shields. If this Charm Ninetales is able to get 6 charms on my Deoxys, my Victreebel can no longer switch in. So it was important to get that Leaf Blade off before they get to a Weather Ball. So this is once again planning your end game scenario to try and win the game. And at this point, I'm just going to go for the Psycho Boost. I'm not going to mess around and go for the Thunderbolt. Legend is on the line in this game, so we're just going to take them out. Yeah, as always, ton of fun playing this team. I mean, I apologize to those of you who don't like the Razor Leaf meta, but Razor Leaf is much weaker and more dealable with now. I just honestly do feel like it is still a fun strategy to use. But if you don't like it, I'm sorry once again for putting all these videos. Definitely trying to stagger them. So to keep everybody happy here, do a little bit of be a little bit impartial here, sit in the middle. But yeah, so this is the team. This was my grind to Legend in season 7. And that's the difference between Vigoroth and Deoxys Defense in the safe switch. You'll notice there was no Pelipper leads here, but I'm staying in for the Pelipper leads. Registeel leads, you're staying in, stuff like that. No switching, none of that stuff. Yeah, as always, I will put my socials, etc. in the description. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.